The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
Oh, no phone call.
Oh, no.
Hi, you've reached David Basner. Leave your name and number. Ready? It's Max Basner, your father. I thought you'd like to know your mother left me today.
What?
Life's been good to David Basner.
Would it be possible afterwards to have a drink?
No, it wouldn't.
Hey, is my nose bleeding? Huh? I just got tagged.
He's managed to become a success.
Basner's the new creative director. He's good.
And I wear bikini briefs.
Without becoming an adult.
You're just,
Oh, childish, immature, and selfish? That's right, I am. Do you know how much money I make for thinking this way?
It is economically unsound to grow up. You're right.
But what happens when a guy who never grew up
So, Mom left.
You see anyone else here?
has to adopt his parents?
Mom, why don't you put on your shoes and come out of the cage? Put it back. Put it back. Shame on you. I was going to get rich and move into a luxurious mansion, and my parents were going to come visit me once. And they were going to say, oh, what a nice mansion. We love you, David. And I was going to say, I love you too, Mom and Dad. Then they were going to go away and die.
I know you hate me, but you have to help me.
I've heard from you 3 times this year. Dad once Merry Christmas, once get me hockey tickets, and now once your mother has left me.
I know you want to leave. What have you got, a blonde on the other pillar?
Seduced and abandoned.
Look closely, girls. This is what you want to avoid later in life.
I mean, I didn't leave because of the yelling. I left because of the silence.
So she's not coming back. Who the hell needs her?
Babysitting your father will drive you crazy in a week, you know.
Tomorrow I'm doing a commercial about a family that cares for each other, loves each other. I'm faking it.
They're driving me crazy.
When showing your love is the last thing you need,
Do you hate me for that?
I do not hate you. You're my mom.
why is it always the first thing you do?
You're the last person I thought would ever come through for me.
TriStar Pictures presents a Raystar production of a Gary Marshall film. It's a comedy and a drama, just like life.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Tragedy Cinema Podcast. I'm your host Jimbo.
And I'm your co-host, Kyle.
Kyle, today I let Kyle pick a movie, so we are doing... Kyle, would you like... I'll just let you introduce the movie.
You can just tell what you think of the movie. But
Yeah.
I'm going to blame this on Kyle. Wow.
This is why we don't let Kyle pick movies very often.
Yeah. Such terrible choice. And Tom Hanks and Jackie Gleason. Okay, Jimbo, fine. Today we chose to cover we chose to cover
We did?
Nothing in Common.
Really, let me go back to the message I got when I accidentally texted you at like
2 a.m.
11:30 in the morning, and then you couldn't
2
go back to
a.m.
sleep.
2 a.m.
What did I do for you, Kyle? So what are we covering, Kyle?
Yes, we're covering the film Nothing in Common.
and I'll get right into the full.
And no, that's not a documentary about this podcast either.
Although it is an accurate reflection.
So, before we get started, Kyle.
Started.
Yeah.
Smoothest start ever.
Hey, you know what? Your hair's coming back.
Slowly but surely.
Eyebrows are starting to come back in, too.
Eyebrows are about halfway where I want them, but the hair's coming back very well.
Your hair grew back really fast.
I guess in the picture next week. Just to show now.
But Kyle, before we start, this stars Jackie Gleason, he's a legend in comedy, probably most famously known for his role in Honeymooners. I think where he played, was it Ralph?
Yeah. But literally a 40-year career of doing basic comedy legends.
And Tom Hanks, which obviously needs no introduction.
Yeah, same 40-year career.
So Kyle, do you think that you could think of a movie where a younger comedian and a legendary comedian performed together like these two did?
Either before or after this film. Not off the top of my head easily. Although there is a certain feeling of a kind of passing of the torch. Although Jackie Gleason is Tom Hanks does a lot more dramatical work too, where Jackie Gleason always kind of aired on the side of comedy. But even then, it's just maybe a more direct kind of not the same quality, but similar kind of idea of the Funny People with Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen. When that movie came out a little while ago, they were kind of attempting a similar kind of deal. But very few films kind of come to the same idea of a kind of a aging in a father-son relationship quite like this. Any film comes to mind for you?
The one that kind of comes to my mind, but I don't know if I really consider it, wouldn't be a young comedian, but I would say probably Jack Lemmon and Burgess Meredith in Grumpy Old Men, where was the father and son duo.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, but it's not quite the same I was trying to go for, you know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Yeah. For better and worse, I would say a lot of films are not quite the same as this film, and that also, it kind of speaks to this film's quality or lack thereof to a degree. We'll get to that later in the further notes, too. But do you want to dive right in here, Jimbo?
Well, you can dive right in.
I will dive right in.
No Life Fest.
All right, we have, like I said, I've said this 5 times now, Nothing in Common. Released on July 30th of 1986. Directed by Gary Marshall. Gary Marshall, also director of Pretty Women and The Princess Diaries back in 1990 and 2001, respectively.
Do you know who his daughter was?
Who's his daughter?
Penny Marshall.
Penny Marshall.
You know who Penny Marshall was?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, you guys.
You got me that.
Is
that from
Laverne from Laverne and Shirley?
Laverne and Shirley.
Oh my god!
Who's Laverne and Shirley?
Oh,
what is movies? What is art, Jimbo?
I just can't anymore.
Nothing in Common follows short. This is the silliest start. Nothing in Common follows a successful advertising detective who finds his freewheeling life crashing to a halt when his parents end their long-time marriage, and his life is just kind of thrown in disarray.
I think they were married 36 years or 35 years or something like that.
Yeah, basically all of his childhood to adult life, and then kind of sprung into him in this young adulthood he's in right now of having everything basically flipped on his head. Yeah, so interesting story there. Once again, directed by Gary Marshall of Pretty Women and Princess Diaries fame, written by Rick Podell and Michelle Preminger, produced by Alexander Rose, composed by Patrick Leonard, cinematographer was John A. Alonzo, edited by Glenn Farr, and casting directors were Jane Alderman and Shelley Andreas. Opening weekend, this film made $3.3 million. Adjusted for inflation, it'd be about $9.2 million. It blows my mind that just 40 years later, money's worth three times less than it was back then. Gross worldwide, though, made a good product, though. It made a product of $32.3 million, and just for inflation, that made about $90.7 million. This film doesn't have a budget that I could find, so overall, we don't know how much the movie cost to make, but gonna assume not very expensive, not very cheaply, around the ballpark of an average film that time.
Kyle,
what's this, Jimbo?
I was wrong.
You were wrong?
Yeah. It's not Penny Marshall dad. Penny Marshall's dad was actually Anthony W. Marshall. But Gary Marshall does have 2 daughters, Kathleen Marshall and Lori Marshall. So my apologies, I misspoke. I feel like Kyle now.
Just a constant fraud, yeah.
Wow. All these years, I thought Gary Marshall was Penny Marshall's dad. I feel like a millennial right now.
You just crossed into an alternate universe. You are from the universe where that was true.
I started thinking about it, and I'm like, I better look that up because I'm not sure.
Man, I would have liked Facebook correcting you like 3 weeks later. I think that would have been more fun. Okay, moving on here. We're going to go ahead and hit the awards, which we only have just one. In 1987, it had the nomination for the funniest actor in a motion picture in a leading role. That was nomination to Tom Hanks for the American Comedy Awards. Yeah, too. And this film isn't much of a comedy, really. I think it's more of a drama and romance story for sure. My personal opinion. The comedy is kind of distant third, if you will, to this. Like, there are comedic moments, but just in kind of like the natural levity of life, of no one not wanting to take things too seriously. Anyway, some technical details of the film. This film has a Dolby Sound Mix surround sound system for its audio recording mastering. This is a color film done by Metro Color in Culver City, in California. Camera used was the Panaflex camera and lenses by Panavision. Aspect ratio is 1.85 by 1 and has a film length of 3,258 meters. So, once again, all kind of ballpark averages for the time. Ooh, excuse me, making noises, natural noises. And then we're going to move on to kind of the bigger bulk of the technical details right here. Not too much going on here, but we have the cast. The cast, of course, stars the legendary Tom Hanks. Needs no introduction by himself because, playing the character of David Basner. And, of course, Tom Hanks, known for, Castaway, 2000, Forrest Gump, 1994. And most recently, he was in A Man Called Otto in 2022, a fantastic film. And he was in Elvis in 2022 as well. And I'm sure many more films to come. What's that?
Sorry.
I'll never forgive you.
Gary Marshall was the brother of Penny Marshall.
Oh my gosh, Jimbo.
I just want to make sure I got that in there.
I could have just said Gary Marshall and called it a day, but you had to butt in with but what about everyone I know by the name of Marshall?
Right. So it wasn't her father, it was her brother. So I just want to make sure we got that clear.
I love you, Jimbo.
I know. Now I will put my phone down because it was bothering me because I know somewhere in this world they are related, and I finally had to... Sorry, folks. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Moving on. We, of course, have the secondary co-lead of this film, Jackie Gleason, playing the character of Max Bassner.
Now, you know who Jackie Gleason's father was, right? Mr. Gleason.
Was he also a marshal? Oh, gosh. Okay.
No, this dog's name was Marshall.
This was Jackie Gleason's last film, unfortunately. I believe he passed away just the year after, in 1987, if I'm correct. Maybe 88, I can't remember now. But, of course, Jackie Gleason, of course, legendary actor in his own right. He was, of course, in The Honeymooners in 1955, 1956.
Did you ever see any Honeymooners?
I've probably seen clips of it, but I never, sat down and watched the show.
Great TV show.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. I have no idea how well it holds up now, but still, Jackie Gleason, great actor. He's also, of course, the Jackie Gleason Show from 1949 to 52. He was in the film The Hustler in 1961, and he was he was Smokey in Smokey and the Bandit in 1977, and the other two films after that. So, legendary actor in his own right in that respect too, and just did a terrific performance in this last performance here. Great actor. Next up, we have Eva Marie Saint playing the character of Lorianne Basner. Eva Marie Saint was also in the film On the Waterfront in 1954. North by Northwest in 1959, and the film Exodus in 1960. Next up, we have Hector Elizondo and playing the character of Charlie Gargis. Hector was also in the film Pretty Women in 1990, The Princess Diaries in 2001, Runaway Bride in 1999, and he was in the TV show Chicago Hope from 1994 to 2000. Yeah, Hector was a kind of a favorite actor of Gary Marshall himself because he appeared in many. Those are also Gary Marshall films he was in. Right. So interesting relationship. The next up we have Barry Corbin playing the character of Andrew Wooldridge, the owner of the airline company this film is trying to get an advertising contract for. Barry Corbin, also a very well-known actor in his own right for many films. Oh, not a well-known actor, but he appeared in a lot of films as a character actor. Let's see. Recently, he's been in the Tulsa King Show for 5 episodes in 2020-22 to ongoing still right now. He was in the War Games movie in 1983. Most recently, he played the Undertaker in the film Killers of the Flower Moon in 2023, the most recent Scorsese film. But his most memorable role for me, which I think is kind of ridiculous but also really funny, is that he was in the Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 game and its expansion from the year 2000 and 2001. And oh boy, a young Kyle spent probably maybe hundreds of hours playing that game and watching cinematics of Barry just devouring the scenery, being General Ben Carville. Yep. Just absolutely being awesome in that game, and that's his most memorable role for me, which I think is kind of funny. So Barry Corbin, also awesome. Love him to death. Next up, we have Bess Armstrong playing the role of Donna Mildred Martin. Bess Armstrong was also in the film Jaws 3D in 1983. High Road to China, also in 1983, and the film Lace in 1984. Next up, we have Sella Ward playing the role of Cheryl Ann Wayne. Sella Ward was also in the film Independence Day Resurgence in 2016, The Fugitive in 1993, and she was in the CSI show in New York, the New York division of the CSI shows, and I believe she was in there for like 6 years, something like that. I forgot to write down the years for that one. Next up, we have Cindy Harrell playing Shelley the stewardess, who you see at the beginning of the film, having clearly had an encounter with Tom Hanks' character while on duty. Then we have Carol Messing playing the role of David's secretary. Carol Messing was also in the film The Color of Money in 1986. Oh, Cindy Harrell, she was also in the film Falcon Crest in 1981. I skipped over there right there. Next up, we have Bill Applebaum playing the role of Ted Geller. Bill Applebaum was also in the film Pretty Woman in 1990. Then we have Mona Linden playing the character of Misha. Mona Linden was also in the film Overboard in 1987. Then we have Anthony Stark playing the character of Cameron. Anthony Stark was also in the film License to Kill in 1989. Julia Alonso played the role of Rick. She was also in the film, Julio, that's man's name, was also in the film Louie and Liz in Beverly Hills in 1986. We have Jane Morris playing the role of Dale. Jane Morris was also in the film Frankie and Johnny in 1991. Dan Castellaneta playing the role of Brian. Dan Castellaneta was also, of course, playing Homer Simpson in The Simpsons in 1989 to ongoing. The Simpsons. Yeah. Jeez, it's been how long has it been? I was just trying to do the math in my head. It's like it's like 35 plus years now. Like seeing 80s into
it's
now.
Older than
like,
Kyle.
It is older than me. Then we have Mike Haggerty playing the role of Eric. Mike Haggerty was also in the film Somebody Somewhere in 2022. And then we have Jeff Milchowski playing the role of Lewis, and Jeff was also in the film The Cable Guy in 1996. And that's going to conclude the cast list of Nothing in Common. So, Jimbo, let's move on to some cool trivia for the film.
Well, Kyle, why don't you give us, since there's not a lot of trivia, why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown of the movie?
The rundown of the movie itself?
Without looking at your notes.
No, of course. How much notes do I have, Jimbo, right? Well, Tom Hanks' character, David Basner, he is... I think this story is kind of it's a young adult story for many respects. Like not like young adult as a teenager, but as a young adult as like guy in his late 20s, early 30s, just getting in the cusp of his his big career, basically like that, as playing as kind of an ad executive to some degree, but not quite an executive level yet, but just on the cusp of it to a degree. And clearly, he's the top guy going on right now. Like he's the hot new kid on the block who's going to make millions if he does everything right here. And he's clearly on the cusp of it all when he has the opportunity to secure this contract for an airline company to do ads for them, who Barry Corbin's character, Andrew Wooldridge. And he is on the cusp of it right as soon as he's kind of in the midst of like trying to juggle his life of sleeping around a lot and also trying to be an ad executive for this company. His dad tells him that his wife left him. His wife, of course, David's mother left his father, and that they're both separated, and that also comes becomes clear that Jackie Gleason's character is also having medical needs, and he's lost his job, and he's clearly just in a very, very down spot in his life. So David, feeling the responsibility to take care of his parents as well as support his own life, begins to shuffle all these things around, and it becomes like far too much for him to handle all at once. He can't balance out sleeping around, being an executive, and trying to support his dad.
I think when once they separate and his mom's got this new place and she goes on that date or whatever, and I think it is probably the highlight of the movie is when Tom Hanks goes and knocks on that door of that lady and she has that guy in the bedroom, and he just goes on that rant about everything.
Oh, yeah.
And he's having a nervous breakdown at that point, and he climbs in bed with the guy or whatever.
Yeah, he clearly has no idea how to handle the situation at all.
And he's drunk at that point, too.
Yeah, he's drunk, being very inappropriate, very messed up. And it's clearly that he's kind of reaching a critical threshold of, like, his ability to juggle all these aspects of his life that are important to him, but still trying to be a responsible adult at the same time. Because, like, he's supposed to be a very caring character, but it's very clear, like, he just can't shuffle all this at once. And so this kind of hitting this critical threshold causes him to refocus everything that's important to him in his life, and so he kind of stops his kind of bit more sleazy behavior, sleeping around. So he finally finds the girl that actually he's always loved. He finally he kind of recommits his love to his father and grows his relationship there, and he kind of diminishes his kind of over focus on his career, kind of as a thing. So he kind of refocuses his life of like, hey, it's not about making all the money in the world and sleeping around as much as possible. It's actually about like finding love, finding those deeper connections, and as well as like having a more healthy relationship with your work in general. And so kind of an overall, like, I think it's actually a very positive message. I think I found the film, I felt like
we don't want to get to your
final thoughts about it a little bit too, but I think it actually, like, it's a surprisingly like modern message. I think in many cases right now, because I feel like I think this film applies now more than ever than perhaps even it did apply in the mid 80s. Yeah, granted, it applied in the mid 80s too, but I found the story relevant today. It felt to me, so we'll go for there. So that's the overall plot of the film, or the overall vibes I feel like they were going for that resonated with me. So that's what I kind of think the film was about overall. So Jimbo, take it away. Let's get short list of trivia.
There's not much at all. So.
Yeah.
If you notice, there are several references to the legendary Beatles Ringo Starr in the movie, where David aims at being a fourth partner in the film, just like Ringo was the fourth person to join the Beatles. David plays with them drumsticks the whole movie,
Yes.
Which was also a reference to Ringo being the drummer. Then with doing auditions for the grandmothers, Roger mentions how Ringo had become a grandfather in his 40s, so... It's just a lot of nods to the Beatles and Ringo Starr. So
unusual, but cool.
So rumor had it that director Gary Marshall would not go ahead with the making of this film without the inclusion of Jackie Gleason. In poor health, Gleason had grown tired of filmmaking and wished to retire from the business. After several attempts to get him on board, Marshall finally called Gleason on the phone and insisted that if he didn't do this film, that the last film he would be remembered for was the box office bomb Smokey and the Bandit Part 3. Gleason immediately accepted the offer on the condition that this would be his last acting role. In Marshall's 2012 memoir, My Happy Days in Hollywood, he credits Ray Stark with asking Gleason the question about if he wanted Smokey and the Bandit 3 being how he was to be remembered.
That's really... It's kind of damning for Smokey and the Bandit Part 3, but it's also really, really kind of a kindness to a degree of both Gary Marshall and Jackie Gleason start agreeing to play this part too.
But it's also kind of it's kind of mean too. Like, hey, do you want to go out like that, or do you want to come do this movie? you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I feel like this film is made better by its star power. If this film had like just adequate actors for this film, everyone would have forgot about it entirely, including myself. But because it has Tom Hanks and Jackie Gleason in it, who became such big stars before and after this, it has a sense of like history in its film foundation. And it's a solid film, I feel like, too. So I feel like it's a good way. It's a nice spot for Jackie Gleason to kind of end off on, as well as I think it's a good thing for him to have accepted the role and do it in the first place too. It elevated the film, and it kind of puts a good capstone on his career, I feel like.
Well.
Personally.
Well, a lot of people don't know is Jackie Gleason, he was seriously ill when filming this. He was ill with colon cancer, liver cancer, thrombosis, hemorrhoids, diabetes, and phlebitis throughout the production. Mm-hmm. One evening during filming, he admitted to his daughter that he had only had a short time to live. He died nearly 1 year after the film's release, long enough to personally view the completed film, which he was said to have enjoyed very much.
I imagine it'd be deeply personal considering the concept of this film. Like the concept, like the character in the film is of failing health and like clearly is struggling to survive, and having a story about his son coming through for him must be very, very thematic to his own life, and I'm sure deeply emotional. So great on that point.
Barbara Marshall, who was the wife of film directors Gary Marshall, which would be
who's his daughter,
which would be sister-in-law to Penny Marshall.
Second cousin
appears in the movie as a nurse, so he threw his wife in there.
Oh, nice.
So the consensus for the role of the casting of the Max Basner character with Jackie Gleason was Ray Stark. He was the chairman of the board of Rastar, R-A-S-T-A-R. Sent Gleason the script. The two had previously worked together on, among others, The Toy and the Smokey and the Bandit film series. The script arrived at Gleason's home at 10:30 Eastern Time, and when Stark reached his office at 10:30 Pacific Time, which was only 3 hours later, Gleason was on the phone committing to the role. "It was the fastest yes I ever received from a star," said Stark. How did Tom Hanks feel playing the son of the intimidable great one, Jackie Gleason? He said that there was a certain amount of awe beforehand, but, quote, "The first day on the set, Jackie came over to me and said, 'How you doing, kid? Let's make history.' We threw our arms around each other, embraced, and it was easy from then on." Actor Tom Hanks explained that some characters have nothing to do with you as a person, that you create them from scratch. He said, "But occasionally, you have to draw on your own experience. This was the case here. David Basner made me reconsider my own relationship with my parents. The role challenged Hanks to run a full emotional gauntlet."
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Actually, I think the more we're reading about this film, the more deeply personal it feels for everyone involved in its creation. I think that's really, really cool.
And yes, last but not least, this was Jackie Gleason's last film. Sadly, he died just a year after production wrapped up. So, yeah. Kyle, we've already started down your rabbit hole of what you think about this movie. Why don't you continue on?
Yeah. Well, I think we had a little bit of a pre-talk before we record the podcast, but I feel a little more strongly than you. For me, this is a 7 out of 10 for me. I really like this film a whole lot. I don't think it's necessarily like a very enjoyable watch to watch over and over again, but it's a film that creates a feeling that I do enjoy, and I like to come back to it maybe every 5 years, something like that, watch it once and kind of feel that kind of, emotional malaise or something like that to a degree that makes you feel okay about things in a cool way, even when situations can feel dire, and I think that's really kind of nice, but yeah, I feel like the learning about Jackie Gleason's reasons why he accepted this film makes it more deeply personal. It makes it more emotionally fulfilling to me. I think it's a really sweet film, kind of a bittersweet film to a degree, just because there's so much kind of a story of parental and child responsibility to their parents, as well as what your lasting legacy is, and I think that's very, very deep. Even if this film itself kind of is a little more middling at times, or not as enjoyable to watch, but I still love it overall for that reason. So this is a strong 7 out of 10 for me, and I really enjoy it. I think any film buff should watch it at least once, maybe twice, and get a feel for it, and I think it's a worthwhile film overall. So yeah, I like this film quite a bit. Jimbo, how do you feel about anything in common?
Well, I think it's a 6 out of 10. I can't take nothing away from the performances of Jackie Gleason and Tom Hanks, especially after reading that what Jackie Gleason was going through. He was basically dying as he was filming this, with dealing with several different types of cancers and everything. Jackie Gleason was always, growing up, The Honeymooners on reruns. We'd watch it, and Tom Hanks, of course, he has a legendary career. And I had never even heard of this movie of Tom Hanks. This was my first time ever watching this film. You? Or have you seen it before?
I've seen it a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I didn't even know this. It was seeing Tom Hanks in a role like that. I don't know if he really pulled it off. I think somebody else probably could have done a better job.
It's not a very Tom Hanks-like role.
No, it's very different from anything you've seen from Tom Hanks. It's kind of weird seeing him as a playboy. You know what I mean?
Him playing a playboy.
Yeah, that really, Tom Hanks sleeping around and stuff. I was really confused. I don't want to say confused, but I was really shocked by this. But then again, This is Tom Hanks before he had all of his hits, Forrest Gump, Saving Private Ryan,
before he had his
that
cooler
stuff.
years, yeah.
But I like the message of the thing, and I think that closing line. I think Jackie Gleason says, out of everybody, you were the one I expected least to help me, or whatever he says. Yeah. It's a great line, but like I was telling you, it just kind of ends like his dad has surgery. He's losing part of his foot and toes or something, and they're wheeling him across. You ever seen like downtown? Like we'll say downtown here in Indy, they got the hospital, and then they got those bridges overhead, covered bridges that you go across to your parking garage, and that's where it ends. It shows Tom Hanks wheeling Jackie Gleason in the wheelchair, and he says that line, and then basically the credits roll. Yeah, I was wanting more closure, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if it's closure.
I understand the feeling of closure too, but I also think the film is kind of about like that mid-30s like broadside of life where you think you have everything kind of under control, because I think that's what Tom Hanks' kind of his ego is like a reset of humblingness of like life's going to hit you with this left field punch, and then like but you'll be okay,
right? But
it's kind of a message that I think
there's also the film. Even though his wife, Jackie Gleason's wife in this film, when she comes to visit him in the hospital, and they're talking or whatever, and he yells at her, she gets mad, leaves, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then he sits there and he cries in the bed, in the hospital bed. You're hoping that it melted his heart enough that there's going to be a little bit of reconciliation, even in a I'm sorry or something, which we don't get that. Yeah. And that's very
dissatisfying.
Yes.
But also, I think it's like kind of an accurate reflection on a lot of people I know in my real life to a degree. Like, yeah, you do want him to say that thing, but that doesn't happen as always. That kind of unsatisfying conclusion is something I've encountered many times before in real life. Even if I don't get, I expect the exact opposite in films. I don't come to a film to have that dissatisfaction, but sometimes it's worth having a film do that for you.
No, but I'm just saying, with this film, I think it would have made this film a much better. Not saying that they get together and all that, live happy, live. He could have at least been, because obviously he was remorseful. Yeah, but just to say, I'm sorry, the last 35 years I ruined your life. Yeah. Something like that. Because obviously he is remorseful about it. If he would have brought closure to it, I think this film would have jumped up at least to a 7.5 for me.
Mm-hmm. So. Something about, him having the courage to admit to it, like, hey, I'm actually kind of a suck. Right. I actually kind of suck. Like, yeah, you do. So, but they still love you.
Yeah. So not bad, Kyle. You did pretty good picking a film. Maybe we might let you pick one again in the future.
Someday. Over the rainbow.
Things we learned today. Gary Marshall is the brother of Penny Marshall, and they are not related to Kyle. So, I think this episode's coming down to a close, Kyle. Somewhere around here I have the clapboard, but I don't really know what I did with it because I was cleaning.
I'll use the hand to be all right.
I think it might be over there under the projector, but if you want to follow us on the social medias... Oh, Kyle, before we forget, we do have a new review to read. Let me pull that up real quick because I didn't want to forget it. Usually when we record these, we are usually several weeks out. So if I get a new review or something, we obviously read it when we get back together and record. So this one came in, as soon as I find it, this came in from... Kimba125, she sent on November 2nd. Here it is, almost Thanksgiving. But the title was Heard Ya on HHA's Halloween, which was basically Jerry and Tracy Pauly's Halloween special. She gave us a 5 stars. She said, I really enjoyed the listen about The Exorcist. Looking forward to more listening. Thank you, Kimmy. And she gave us a thumbs up, too. So
awesome.
Kimmy, thank you for listening. Jerry and Tracy are great friends of ours. Hopefully you still listen to us. I'm sorry I didn't get this read, and I wish I would have saw this earlier of November 2nd.
November's a busy month.
Yeah, it just got crazy. So thanks for the review. If you guys would like to leave us a review like Kimmy did, we will read it on the air at some point when we get together to record, because we only record every so often. But yeah, thanks, Kimmy. So with that being said, I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And cut.